These are devotions for people at a social distance. This morning, my devotions took me to a favorite passage, Mark chapter 6, and specifically to verse 34. Now, this is the setup for the whole feeding of the 5,000 story in the Gospel of Mark. Basically, Jesus and the guys have decided to try and get away from it all a little bit. They head off to a deserted place, but the people all follow them. And then we have this very memorable verse. Verse 34, as Jesus went ashore, he saw a great crowd, and he had compassion for them, because they were like sheep without a shepherd, and he began to teach them many things. Now, I want to just reflect on that compassion that is reported in that passage. It is really something quite important and meaningful. Now, the people that Jesus was dealing with, the people in that crowd, were pretty clearly, if you read through the whole gospel and all of the gospels, were pretty clearly people who were not in a great shape. These were the people to whom Jesus would look at and say, blessed are you who are poor. You know, they were dispossessed. They had no resources. They were hungry, very clearly in this story. And they were not doing well. They were not doing well. And, you know, they did not have regular work. They did not have, farms or fields to fall back on. They were really struggling. And I would just like to note that maybe we like to be compassionate to such people in our own society, people who, for whatever reason, seem to have fallen through the cracks. But there is also a strong sense in which we will often blame people for the condition where they find themselves. You know, they are poor because, you know, they didn't work hard or they didn't save or whatever it is. Often that is the assumption we have behind us. And maybe, yes, we can still be compassionate to them, but there's this kind of judgment behind them. And I just want to underline what it says in Mark here. He had compassion for them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. Well, who was supposed to be their shepherd? They were supposed to be in a nation where the leaders of the nation took measures to make sure that everyone had the resources they needed to survive. The shepherds had not been doing their job, because they had allowed the growth of a nation where there was this huge underclass of people who simply didn't have the resources to live and to strive. And that is what Jesus notes, first of all. The people who are in leadership have not stepped up and done their job. And their job is basically, yes, to make sure that these people have what they need. And that is an important lesson that we need to take with us. I think a lot of people are feeling right now the ways in which we have been let down by our leadership because, you know, they may be protecting the interests of those who, you know, provide their donations, who have a lot of influence over them, but they don't seem to be necessarily looking out for the needs of the people who easily fall through the cracks. That is their problem. The sheep without the shepherd's problem is very much still with us. And that is what we need to always bring with us as we meet all such people, with compassion and not judgment, as Jesus did. Lord our God, we do pray for those who seem to have been abandoned by their shepherds in our society today. Teach us real compassion and not judgment. Amen.